There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. And I'm just sorting the ticker tape out this morning. You join me whilst I'm doing that. Neil is coming in from Spartan at 9:30. That's what I'm changing. It's normally Sarah, isn't it? Or sometimes Ben, but a new name from Spartan at 9:30 on this Consumer Tuesday. Neil Poynton from Spartan. Some of you know him already. I think some of you are big fans of Neil already. So I'm looking forward to meeting him and having a chat with him about extraordinarily beneficial rates for those buying euros with dollars right now. Not so great for the GBP, but don't take my word for it. Let's talk to the expert Neil at 9:30. At 9, the Bear Grylls of the insurance world, Senor Mensch, Nuno Mendes from Winsurance is here this morning to talk about, the mistake that I made recently when it comes to the insurances you need for the D7 visa. That's why it's best left to the experts, the likes of Gilles de P and Nuno, who will be here at around 9 this morning. But between now and then, an easygoing start to the day here on the Good Morning Portugal show. How are you doing? Do let me know. Lovely to have your company in the chat. Portuguese history, plenty of it by the look of it today. Fantastic. Thank you, Prof. Not the only offerings from Prof today. Also yesterday was wanting me to temper some of my big budget spending on real estate with some bargains that are available in Portugal. It is going to be a long-term project, the Casa do Dia, everybody. Send me in I suppose the problem with this is that you're not going to want to send me your favorite housing listings, are you, real estate listings, because you want to keep them for yourself. But if you see something and you think, oh, that might be nice for somebody else, if not me, send me the link and I'll feature it and give you a due acknowledgement if you want it. The Prof has sent me quite a few listings. We've got a semi-detached house for sale in Travessa da Fonte in Monsanto, up near where Phil and Phil and the lady, I'll call them, are currently. I bought that beautiful house that you'll have seen, Phil and Kimberly. Semi-detached house for sale in Travessa da Fonte, 6,500 euros. But you can't wait for me to have a look at that listing. And then something slightly bigger, a village house for sale, Lugar Malhada Silhasna, 10,000 euros. And that is a house with patio, wood oven, overlooking the mountains of Estrela and Açor. Excellent sun exposure. Close to Piedon and Foz de Agua. 10,000 euros, folks. So you don't need the 6 million that I've been encouraging you to spend recently, or even yesterday, the listing, that lovely listing over in Panella Way. What was it? 439,000 euros. Something for everybody here in Portugal. There's some man cave business going on. I think they're already shouting at each other. The cavemen, I think they call themselves cavemen. I think, we can ask Nuno about this at 9. I think at the last meetup, he approached Chris and said, "Are you a caveman?" And then they did some kind of special handshake and beat their chests. B is here this morning. Morning, B. Hola, Carl. How's it going? And hi, hey, Neil. How are you doing? Bit early. Neil will be here a bit later on. Or is he already here in the comments? I wonder. Maybe that's why the Prof is saying hi. I need to have a sip on my tea. Last night, quite amazing. At a special location. I'm going to show you a video that was the access to the special and secret location. Me and the DJ Duck were the guests of the San Martino tourist office. Thank you so much for your hospitality at San Martino de Porto. Just generally, what an amazing place to live. Oh, got some lovely poppy pictures, talking of which. Let me show you those first, and I'll show you what's going on in San Martino de Porto this morning on the dog walk. Look at these beautiful poppies. Poppies are the most extraordinary flowers, aren't they? That there's no filter on that, folks. That is poppies caught this morning whilst out with the dogs, and a bit of a close up here with the reds against the greens. Absolutely beautiful. And then at the top of the street, this is going to be big news for San Martino de Porto. Do you remember the other day I showed you? Where's the earlier picture? This one. And no, it wasn't a new colonoscopy device. This we believe is the water slide of the massive development basically that's going on at the top of the street from me, where the loads of cabins are being installed in the hillside, and I think they're doing a major water feature. It's a bit of an understatement to call this a water feature, but this morning's progress, look at that. The green slide is in. Maybe they're color coded for terror, but so that's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it? The green slide is in, and we'll keep you posted. I think it's going to be an amazing view back across towards the bay as well when you get to the top of that before you launch yourself off into the swimming pool there. So a few pickies from around San Martino de Porto. Thank you to San Martino de Porto for your hospitality. Secret location, broadcasting the show last night. Much better sound quality. The Wi-Fi connection wasn't brilliant, so it was a bit choppy at the start, but we settled into it. And DJ Duck and I were able to look into each other's eyes and engage in a proper radio show kind of way, smashing and nicely, looking at each other across the desk and having a great time. This is how we got to the secret location. Have you seen this video before? The Bay. That's what my blog is called, the Bay blog. Isn't that beautiful? And that was captured in 2017, would you believe it? 5 years ago, pretty much. And when we were first in San Martino de Porto, quite taken by the glass elevator, the great glass elevator. Quite understated. And Gaston, who I met yesterday in the tourist office, said this is a tourist office with a lift, not a lift with a tourist office, and very friendly and truly helpful, young fella Gaston, and we realised we had some things in common with our love of South Kensington in London. So great to meet you yesterday, Gaston, and looking forward to having a beer with you sometime. And all on official tourism business, of course. So I hope you enjoyed that. Going up in San Martino there, and if you want to catch the show, I'm going to have to find a link for you, but we played some cracking music last night, didn't we, DJ Duck? Is he here this morning? Is he here with his Portuguese phrases? Deagle is. Bon dia, Carl, from a nice-looking Belfast. Was very wet yesterday. Almost 30 millimetres fell yesterday. Much needed, very dry autumn and winter. So good for you, good for your plants. And Deagle, what were you telling me yesterday? You're trying to crack a record, aren't you, in the pool? Deagle, we know, is a legend when it comes to learning Portuguese and swimming. 2 mile swim, 1 hour, 1 minute. He can swim Bear Grylls, Mendes. Check out this. This is the guy you want by your side when you're out doing some survival skills. He can swim 2 miles in 1 hour and 1 minute. Been trying almost a year to get it under the hour, to get it in an hour. That would be an amazing thing, and that must be a bit gutting to try really hard yesterday and then do 1 hour, 1 minute. I'm not knocking it. I couldn't get anywhere near that. And you've got a special watch that records all of this. Swimming pool, 1 hour, 1 minute, 3,225 meters swum. I don't know how you do it, Deagle. I really don't. That and learning the Portuguese as well. Plus having a full-time job and dreaming constantly about coming to Portugal. They made this statue of me this week's name for the for James, the banana slug. I was hesitating there because I'm reminded that this whole thing arose from the picture of the lozenges, right? Dr. Bayard's lozenges, and then the banana slugs. And I found 2 new reboçados here in Portugal, but I've given them away already to Mrs. Duck. Mrs. Duck's really liked them, I think. I'm going to have to replenish those and show you them. But a new brand of cough lozenge here in Portugal. I'm an amateur collector of cough lozenges here, and there's a challenger to the Dr. Bayard throne, everybody. Just let you know that until I buy those again and show them to you on the screen. Hola, bom dia, alegria a todos. Ainda de Amsterdam, still there. How long is it going to take, Matty, for you to get yourself over here, my friend? A bit of background on another US entertainer who is very quotable. Will that be William Penn Adair Rogers? Will Rogers. Oh, yes. Was an American vaudeville performer, actor, and humorous social commentator. We like the sound of him already, don't we? And wrote more than 4,000 nationally syndicated newspaper columns. By the mid-1930s, Rogers was hugely popular in the United States for his leading political wit. He died in 1935 with aviator Wiley Post when their small airplane crashed in northern Alaska. That's a terrible end. Today's Will Rogers, not Mr. Rogers. Okay, thank you for that clarification. I was wondering. Today's quote from Will Rogers is, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Well, that's true enough, isn't it? Pondi, thank you for that. Banana Slug. They made this statue of me. It's actually a statue in that picture. Bon dia, Gumpers from DJ Duck. How you doing? Proverbs. Pior eter mal médico que estar enfermo. It is worse to have a bad doctor than to be sick. Ain't that the truth? We'll have to save that, won't we, for the first Tuesday of the month when we talk to Dr. Averbrook from Serenity. Quando o amigo pede não há amanhã. When the friend asks, there is no tomorrow. That's how you know if they're a good friend or not, right? I'll come back tomorrow, mate. That's no friend, is it? A friend in need is a friend who helps you out today. A vida sem amigo, morte sem castigo. Life without a friend is like a death without punishment. Oh, my goodness. That's profound. That sounds like a bit of Fernando Pessoa to me. But a Portuguese phrase there. Thank you for those. Coach Turner's in as well. Morning, all. Nice to see you bright and early. Finally back to light training today after weeks off with a pulled hamstring. Can't wait. As always, gently does it. Yes, well said, Coach Turner. Good to have you in our company this morning. Sam Nazare here as well. Hey, all. The little wave there, little royal wave from the colonies this morning. James, I normally catch the first hour of the show before the Sandman comes along, but maybe no, keep the noise down. Tony's just trying to get some sleep. Bon dia, Alegria. Looking forward to another amazing day in Portugal. Well, that's the spirit. How's it all going, Baddy? See you tomorrow at the meetup. Let me just have a look at the weather for tomorrow, just very quickly, if I may go over to the weather. Some lovely temperatures around at the moment, aren't there? Lisbon, 61 in the Fahrenheit, currently rising to 79. That's 26 centigrade. And tomorrow, similar, but a little bit cloudy and a sunny Friday to come. But over this way, let's have a look. What's the closest for us? Probably Coimbra in the listings that I've got, or Santarém I can scroll down to. But Coimbra, 30 degrees is going to be the high today. A little bit lower tomorrow. Faro, only 22. So Central having the best of it in terms of heat at the moment. If I do scroll down to Santarém and Leiria 25 tomorrow, 24 tomorrow, 25 the high today. Santarém, 31, going a bit further inland, 31 the high today for Santarém. So I think it's going to be cloudy, but not rainy tomorrow. So may well be at Palmeira. Keep an eye on the meetup thread, WhatsApp group, and for the final announcement in the morning of the venue. But I think Palmeira, and then maybe the week after, some outdoor action. Maybe at the barbecue, and I was advised by Mr. and Mrs. Duck yesterday to give people plenty of warning, not telling them on the same morning. But it's tricky, isn't it? If we give them a few days warning, the weather can change hugely in that time. But we'll see. Nuno is here, as you know, and will be with us in person at 9 o'clock. Good morning from Nuno this morning. Moaz is in as well. How you doing, Moaz? And bon dia, class. Por favor, abra a página. Okay, turn to page 47 in your history books. What is it today? Who's that cheeky maiden in your picture there, Prof? Should we do this now then? Let's go for it. Let's go for a bit of Portuguese history. And then maybe we can segue very nicely into his Casa Estudia today, our new feature, looking at a different bit of real estate from somewhere in Portugal. I can't wait to go to the autonomous regions as well. I don't think I've ever looked at any property in Madeira or the Azores. But anyway, it's this now. go. Isn't that great? I love that. Is anyone humming that to themselves during the day and thinking to themselves, what is that? What is that? Ah, Munson with your Good Morning Portugal, and the prof with his Today in Portuguese History, making us hum along to that earworm there. Okay, that of course is the Portuguese national anthem in a doo-wop style. Thank you to Warren for that, telling us about over on YouTube about his problems of having an airport breakfast. Sounded hideous, Warren. Today in Portuguese history, though, 1904. Not today in Warren's travel history and the time he ate some eggs and wished he hadn't, but no, Portuguese history. 1904. Oh, I see what's going on in the picture now. The first Lisbon telephone directory published. The directory consisted of, I'm sorry, just every time I think of phone directories, I think of that Chinese joke. The directory consisted of, which I'm not going to say, the directory consisted of 23 subscribers, nine of whom belonged to firms, hotels, and commercial houses. You can almost memorize that and then not need the directory. 23 subscribers in the first Lisbon telephone directory. And I wonder, did they here in Portugal have the bigger directories as they grew and more numbers and listings were added? In a British phone box, yes, a phone box as well. Young people, what is he talking about? Telephone directories and phone boxes. The books were inside the phone box. Hoodlums and hooligans would set fire to them, as I recall. You get in there with your 10 pence or your 2 pence or whatever to make the call, open up the right page in the directory. I mean, it just seems like ancient history, doesn't it? That's what we're talking about here this morning. 1904, first Lisbon telephone directory published. And nine of whom, of the 23 subscribers, 9 belong to firms, hotels, and commercial houses. 5 to organizations and employees related to the post office and telephones. 3 to medical assistants and firefighters. And 6 individuals that were in the first Lisbon telephone directory. And that lovely illustration, which is maybe was 6 individuals who was there saying, "Estou." I think that's how you answer the phone in Portuguese, isn't it? "Estou, estou." Okay, thank you very much indeed for that, Prof. Let's go to a couple of your listings now before Nuno joins us on the hour this morning, and I'm going to go to the first of them. These are from Idealista, as you'll see from time to time. We will, of course, call upon Idealista, but is this what could be described as an antidote, certainly a contrast to the big numbers I've been talking about recently, millions and hundreds of thousands. You can still buy Portuguese property for 6,500. Well, to be exact, 6,550 euros in Monsanto, which is, I've said before, and I'll say it again. I don't think I'll ever stop saying that Monsanto has been described as the most Portuguese of Portuguese villages. And you can see this property is built in some very substantial granite there by the look of it. And what is it? What is the listing telling us here? It has hydraulic installations, supply and wastewater drainage, and electrical installations as well. Hydraulic sounds like plumbing to me. It has sanitary installation as well. Although its resistant structure is in stone masonry, it is in relatively good condition, as is the roof. Although at the floor level, its integrity needs to be reviewed. That's a really posh way of saying the floor's broken, right? Service allocation, I'm not sure what that means. There is no land, just the building located in the municipality of Idanha Nova, parish of Monsanto, Lugar de Devesa. Well, this is amazing. Semi-detached, 39 square meters, a T0, a studio house, 1 bathroom, second-hand, needs renovating. Energy efficiency rating is not indicated, as you might expect. And there are the pictures. Yeah, that's an interesting ceiling, isn't it? Held together with lats of wood there. A fine white porcelain. Could be a lot worse in that bathroom, couldn't it? There could be an avocado or a dark brown suite in there from the 70s, but there isn't. It's a nice white porcelain, very, very livable. And that towel, what's going on with that towel rail? It looks like a very chunky and substantial towel rail, and some storage, a closet, a mini closet inside the water closet there. Fantastic. Thank you for balancing things up a little bit with our net property worth so far with the Casas do Dia that I've been sharing with you. Let's look at another before we move on. That's $6,500. Isn't that amazing? How much is that in euros? You can find out from Neil at 9:30. Next one then is another Idealista listing. And we're staying in the same part of the country, actually, central Portugal. This is the Lugar Malhada. And this is looking a little bit more homely. A bit of land for those who want some land. I mean, you'd want some land, wouldn't you, if you're going to central Portugal to live the good life over there. This village house for sale, 19 photos to look at, can't wait. Lugar Malhada Silesna, 10 grand to you, 183 square meters. Village house, T0, another studio, another big building, big room. Land plot of 313. No bathroom on this one, but you could buy both of these. Couldn't you have a bathroom down the road at the other house? Just driving to use the bathroom down to the other house. Second hand, needs renovating, and no energy efficiency rating. 10K. Look at that lovely. It's the silhouette of the vine outside the house there. And I think you just go up through this magical doorway, don't you, into another part of your land. Look at that view for 10K. I mean, that's amazing. That's quite amazing. Thank you so much for this, Prof. And built into the ground in traditional rural Portuguese style there. Could give you a few damp problems in the winter, but nothing you can't handle, I'm sure. So grapes, well-established grapevine. Look at the thickness of that vine. That's been a few decades, isn't it? And a lovely view up the hill this time. Beautiful. And some apple blossom, I think. And you're near the road there. Not a massive old country track to work your way up and down. I think you're off at one of those windy roads, and you see the village down there, and you see the town probably in the distance, and you think to yourself, that's not far away. But on the windy roads, you cannot go as the crow flies in the hills of Portugal. You have to go on those windy roads, and what feels like it should be a 5-minute journey could well take you half an hour in that sort of situation. Isn't that this? It's fairy tale stuff. A lovely old wooden door. What's behind this door? Some old wine bottles, I suspect, and other delights that you'll no doubt inherit with this property at 10,000 euros. Very nice indeed. Oh, a gentleman trying not to be in the photograph. Isn't it funny how human beings sometimes just freeze, thinking to themselves, if I keep still, I won't appear in the photograph. That's what that gentleman's doing there. Or maybe just standing there for scale. I don't think he's included in the sale. And there you go. It's like a ship, isn't it? With the triangular frontage with like a hull pointing downwards into the valley. That's a very romantic property with its own vine, and there it is on its side for some reason. And something's gone on with that window nearest us, hasn't it? Maybe they started a little bit of improvement and gave up on that. And there you can see from the air the plot. So you are in a little hamlet there by the look of it, and you'll have neighbours with pools. Get to know those neighbours with pools. Look at that. You got a couple of pools either side of you. At the very least, you can irrigate your vines whilst your neighbours are away. Only kidding. Don't do things like that. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Fantastic. What are people saying about these properties this morning? What's this, Carl? Somebody talking about me here. Carl is always showing off his massive floppy tube. What are you talking about, Pete? There's nothing of the sort this morning. Regarding music, in the weekend, I signed up with Spotify Premium. The monthly costs are 33% less a month when using a Portuguese bank, $6.99 instead of $9.99, and I quite enjoy it now, even in the car. Spotify's incredible value. Come on, no question about it. Oh, more Portuguese history as well. Today in Portuguese history too, 1919, the reorganization of primary education is carried out by decree. In case you need the number, if you want to look back in the law books, 5787A. Compulsory schooling is increased to 5 years, as in presumably when you get to 5, you need to go to school. Cindy B. And what did kids do before that? Bon dia. They just hung around at home and copied their parents, right? Bon dia, alegria, gumpers from Cindy B this morning. No way, says Nuno. I don't know to what exactly. That's what happens when you take the comments out of context. I like the idea of a 10K house just to get the residency, even if it's a place that I don't want to live long term. You see, I don't think you're the only one thinking that, Brian Taylor. And you've got to make sure it's got a habitation license, of course, that it is a proper home, because I think Seth will be onto that little ruse, will they not? Morning, says Sarah. Stubble, we've been riding our bikes home at night and found that Stubble and Environs has actual streetlights. back alleys, tiny little streets everywhere. Portugal is just designed to be safe. Lovely feedback. And fellow cyclist Paul will be with us tomorrow, Sarah. You might want to tune in and make friends with Paul tomorrow virtually. Okay, more talk of Spotify, and they're great value, no question. They could give a little bit more to the artist, and that would be my biggest criticism of Spotify. But what an incredible world of music it gives you access to. Operator, please give me Lisbon 00000015, please. The old days, eh? My bet for satiate is that its roots are in Latin, having something to do with being satisfied. Yes, sat though in what? In Sanskrit is wisdom, isn't it? And that, I guess if you're wise, you are satisfied as well, aren't you? They would go together. Contentment comes with wisdom, and the opposite is true too. Love the windows, but hate the parking. Try getting your shopping or wood up that hill. Says Pete. Semi-detached, about to become detached. Also, so come on, what do you want for 6.5 grand or 10 grand? That's actually, what's this? Oh yeah, more chat. I think Matty and Rebel Mum are having a nice chat about Spotify. Other music streaming systems are available, but not few can compare. That terrible Apple thing, honestly, that hasn't worked. And iTunes, has iTunes had a redesign since the 90s? Looked at it again the other day. I mean, have they just not bothered putting any money into iTunes recently, or do I need to upgrade and update my software? To quote Blackadder, the privy is a fresh air orifice with the gutter installation below. Well, with the right motorcycle, you can at least try to go as the crow flies across country. Amazing. A hang glider would shorten the trip down to the village. Getting back, not so much. James, it's nice to see you thinking about this. Links to these properties. No, Sam, I'm not going to. Oh, of course, I'm going to give you the links. How rude would it be to tease you with those properties? And other people may be copying Brian's idea just to buy a home in Portugal to breeze. I mean, that's cheaper than a lot of people are going to pay for a year's rent, isn't it? I wouldn't have thought your stuff, if you store it there, is going to last especially well until you get the floors and roofs sorted out. But there you go, Sam. Those links are in there. Good luck with that one, says Pete. You'll need the exercise and you'll get it. Monsanto is the place to get exercise. Of course it is. Have you seen the old folks of Monsanto? They're tough. They're tough, proper country folk of Portugal, bent double in the fields, growing their own food, walking to town once a week, whatever. Quite incredible. Speaking of sats, Bitcoin is on sale. Is it a fire sale at the moment? Are people fed up with hodling, and are they they're just letting go of it now? It's going to be good for others, isn't it? If that's what's going on. I haven't looked for a little while. I haven't looked at my crypto investments for a little while. Hasn't seemed worth it. Not even worth looking at them, let alone finding out how much they're worth. But I believe I'm a hodler. It's not financial advice, but I think that what my most intelligent crypto friends are saying will come true one day. Everything comes true one day, though, doesn't it? It costs around 20 euros to fly from Porto to Madrid. Return. What? What is it like there in the winter? I need a cheap, warmer escape for next year. Okay. So any tips for warm wintering for Rebel Mama? Greatly appreciated. Oh, it's just after 9 o'clock. Let's go to Lisbon. Let's go to the capital and talk to the Bear Grylls of insurance. Senor Mendes. Nuno Mendes. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, everyone. Once again,
great
here.
To have you. Yeah, how are you? I feel like I see a lot of you these days. It was great to see you at the meetup last week.
Yes, it was. It took like 2 weeks because Michael and we want to go. Michael once again, and for me it was the first time. And yes, It was a very good moment. Very pleased to be there, and even that I knew new people. It was a true pleasure finally meet in person, alive, Chris from Caveman, because we talked since 3 months till now, maybe 3 months, 2 or 3 months, and when we meet someone that we just know through online or through those new technologies, it's very, very good. Good,
It is.
a good feeling.
Yeah, and it's so much a sign of the times, isn't it? At the moment, many of us have known each other for over a number of years now, with ever having met in real life, and now's the time when we can meet in real life, and we are. Chris is here this morning, and I'm sure we've been glad to look at them shouting at each other. We'll have been glad to meet you too. He still won't tell me what he thought of the egg and bacon crisps. I gave him some ovos rotos crisps. There's a little Portuguese treat, and we've yet to get the post-mortem on that. But no, I have an apology for you, and I was put right by the community here at a recent Migration Monday. Not yesterday, it was last week. There was a question about travel insurance. And I can't, like Gilda said yesterday, you can't know everything. There are so many parts to this whole process. Somebody asked about travel insurance, and I said, oh, yeah, you want to get, because this was the information you gave me a long time ago. Probably best bet to get travel insurance in your country of origin, maybe, your bank account travel insurance, something like that. And then people were coming in, no, Nuno does travel insurance for the D7 now. I was, yeah, of course he does. So my mistake, my apology to you. You have a fantastic product, of course, that helps people with the travel insurance part, and, of course, the medical insurance they need once here in Portugal, right?
Yes, well, actually, we did travel insurance since ever.
Yes,
but the trigger point is that we are insuring someone that maybe don't even have the NIF, the Portuguese fiscal number.
Yes,
and if something huge happen, needs to be repatriated to their origin country. And we have here a solution since ever also, but it's too expensive. It's because it's a very comprehensive, full coverage travel insurance, but is not what I feel that people need, because people ask for something just to comply with the requirements to enroll on the process to obtain the visa. And thinking on providing the best service, I just recommend people to search for a normal travel insurance on their country. But since the end of March, I believe, we luckily made, well, a tailor-made travel insurance that complies with the requirements for starting the process regarding obtaining the D7 visa. This is an insurance not only for the D7, but it complies with everything. The 30,000 euros repatriated to the origin country, no deductible, and do we add something more? For example, if someone just need this insurance, but don't know yet how many times he will be traveling to Lisbon or to Portugal. So if someone buys for 180 days or 120 days, whatever the period, all the travels that the person made, this person will be covered on each travel to Portugal. Okay, not to travel; it's the stay in Portugal and the repatriation to the origin country. Okay, so this is an insurance that the focus is comply with the requirements of the government. Okay,
excellent. And then some people will be concerned that they can't buy it until they're here in Portugal. That's not true. They can get in touch with you. Your website address is on there, isn't it? They can get in touch with you before coming to Portugal to organise all of this.
Yes, they don't even need have the NIF. They don't need that.
That's a breakthrough. That's a breakthrough, isn't it? That's
yes,
that'll
yes.
come as a great relief, because there's a real mixed blessing, double-edged sword with the NIF. People so desperately want the NIF because it is the basis of everything, fiscally, and in terms of taxation in Portugal. And then you realize, oh, they've got me forever when you've got your NIF. So you don't have to have it. You don't have to have it. You can delay that moment for a little bit longer, and you can get the insurance package from Nuno.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is what's being said of Nuno. The epitome of my experience of the Portuguese, a true ambassador and representative. Yes, Nuno, you are the official representative of. And then he gets him. He's getting himself worked up into. Oh no, here we go. We got the rest of the comment here. I just thought he got so excited he couldn't finish his sentence. Yes, Nuno, you are now the official representative of all of Portugal. No pressure.
Thank you, but not so much. Not so much.
Yes, give the poor man a break here. He's here to talk about insurance. Okay, how was your conference? I'm sure it wasn't a debauchathon. So, yeah, have you been to an insurance conference recently? What is it like going to an insurance conference? No disrespect to you and your profession, but I'm not thinking going to an insurance conference is going to be as exciting as some other conferences that are reputable.
Mainly is well, there are, I can say, three parts. The first is not for this order, but the first is when the insurer presents all their numbers and their strategy and so on. Yep. The other is usually insurers hire someone to talk about I don't know, self-empowerment and
oh yeah, okay, yeah, the personal development. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. And the third part is the social part. So it's when people talk one with another and so on. So basically, all the conferences, at least the insurance conferences, has those three parts.
And was the third part good? That's the bit we're interested in.
The social part. Yes. It's the dinner.
I was thinking when you said there were three parts, I was thinking, okay, well, the first part's insurance, and the second and third part are food and drink. But also, we squeezed some personal development in there. Who was your inspirational speaker then? Do you get a sports person or somebody from the world of human potential or psychology to come in and advise you?
Advising only me or something that I follow?
Not you personally, but you said the second bit was the personal development part, the motivational speaker. Who did you have? Big motivational speaker?
I didn't remember his name, but yes, that's true. But because I already know him through the YouTube channel and other online platforms. Okay. His name is under my tongue, and his face is under my eyes, but I just don't remember.
Yeah. I get that all the time. I know exactly what you mean.
So sorry.
And what was his thing though? Were you like walking hot coals or breaking pieces of wood, or what's his subject?
No, it's about believing in ourselves, and if we are the first, don't what's the word that I just used?
What, succeed?
Don't believe in ourselves. We will not achieve any objective. So it's about this. Mainly about this. It's just in belief.
The power of belief. Yeah, absolutely. So important. We talk about that a lot here. And we have funnily enough, we have an insurance question for you, which is good. The question for Nuno, we have the top plan with Multicare and have not been overly impressed. So Consumer Tuesday, not an entirely happy consumer here. Got it due to cancer and dentist care. Can you offer a more competitive plan with similar coverage? I think I know the answer to that one.
Yes, but it's not a plain answer, because we need to talk about the little letters of the
Yes.
wordings. So the things that we never see in on a quote for a health insurance. So we need to go deeper on the wordings of the insurers. First, Medicare is a very good insurer. It's from Fidelidad. It's a very good insurer, and their insurance plans, they are good. Okay. But also they have a lot of exclusions. So if we just search for the PDF of the full terms, the wordings, for the word exclusions or exclusões, you will find a lot of diseases that are excluded. So this is the first part. The first part. The second part, it's mentioned that maybe the insurer had bought because of the cancer oncology coverage. There are insurers that also do the same, so they have a special limit or a special cover for oncology, but there are others that covers all types of oncology, and because of this, they don't have a specific cover for that, because it's included on the main coverage.
Not all policies are created equal. So I love the
exclusion.
Yes, but it's a lovely word in Portuguese. I love all the words that end in sois, including that one. And fidelidad is also a lovely word, isn't it? But it just makes me think of Irish, like fiddly diddly day. Fidelidad insurance. It'll be fine. So it will. Right. So you do have a competitor, a comparable, if not better, insurance solution. Let's call it a soluções for Pete there. Thank you for that question. So yes, top plan with multi-care. Not overly impressed. Have a chat with Nunu. Get in touch via winsurance.pt. If you have a belief in yourself, why would you get insurance? Very clever. because you don't necessarily have control all over all the other people who don't believe in themselves. Maybe. Right. I'm looking at not enough belief. That's right. So to complement your lack of belief, to have an insurance policy with Nunu here. I can't help but look out of your window, Nunu. You are overseeing Marques de Pombal, pretty much. There in the capital.
Yes.
Looks like a beautiful
it's
day.
Over there, like 30 meters from here.
Yes. And the Marques de Pombal, of course, was the man who was responsible for tidying up Lisbon after the earthquake. And I don't suppose he had access to any insurance policies. He had to do it with his political charm and wit, I think, didn't he?
Well, I think that Marques Pombal was someone that thinks ahead. So we have the lucky to have him here to reconstruct or rebuilding the city, the center city of Lisbon.
Incredible, fascinating person to look into. I'm sure in future, in our days in Portuguese history, we will find out about Pombal a little more. Fascinating character. I think he believed in himself, didn't he? And wouldn't that be assurance? So yes, assurance maybe is the bit you bring to the party. Insurance is the bit Nunu can help you with. Chris enjoyed seeing you. It was great meeting you two, Nunu. We had a lovely time at the meetup. Another one tomorrow, everybody, here in San Martino de Porto. And a dinner offer as well for you. Nunu, we will meet up for dinner when I'm there, from Andrew Gilchrist. Nunu Grills, he calls you as well. That sounds like a restaurant to me. Maybe one day you can open up a restaurant called Nunu Grills, and it can have an outside area where you can show off all your survival skills as people come out for an evening for dinner as well. So anything else we need to know about Nunu? You have this fantastic product, of course, for people who need to come into Portugal to meet the requirements of the D7 visa. But pretty much, when we've done webinars, people could ask you questions about, can you insure X, Y, or Z? Generally speaking, your answer is yes. You can find a way, right?
Yes, that's true. But mainly, you just can talk with any of us, not only me, but anyone of the team. And this is something that had surprised me, because mostly people that are coming from US, many of them said that they cannot talk with anyone of the insurer, and it's a surprise for me. I can confess, it was a surprise. But people can talk. Our main service is not selling insurance; is advice. So we advise, you decide. Basically, is about this. So ask everything you want to know, and then it's up to you. If you choose us, thank you. We'll appreciate that. But if not, you will stay more informed that before talk with us.
Okay, and I want to ask you a serious question about insurance, because it sounds like you were recently at a conference. We've just had the pandemic. That's had a massive impact, not only directly to do with COVID, but also the impact on other medical services for people. This must have come up at the conference, the impact of the pandemic. More people being ill. What's the word as an insurance professional? How are you seeing this in terms of how the insurance companies are responding to this situation? What are the early signs of how the pandemic has affected the insurance industry?
Insurers had less claims, so few claims than before, because people just staying home. There are much less traffic on the roads, so mainly the insurers had better numbers because they had less claims. Okay, this is one point regarding claims. The other one is regarding the medical expenses, that they raised 12.5% is the number that they talk that usually is talked about in the insurance market. So if medical expenses rise, also the insurance premiums need to be adjusted and raised also based on costs. There were a lot of disease that people just postpone to treat. Ones are the people who decide postponed. The other were postponed by the public system, and this make the private healthcare system and the insurance. They used more their insurance policies, and so because of this, also they put a pressure on the premiums, the insurance premiums. So basically, the claims and the medical expenses are the two main factors that influence the insurance industry, and then the cyber risk.
Okay,
because everything is more online, and so cyber, and with the war between Russia and Ukraine, we are hearing all the time about cyber attacks.
So this is a real worry for the industry.
Point.
Interesting.
Yes.
That never occurred to me that the claims would have gone down during the pandemic, but that makes complete sense with fewer people moving around on the roads, for sure. So that's of course, a very big part of the insurance claims world is from the motor insurance. And Pete saying about that, car insurance is amazingly reasonable compared to London. Thank you for this input, Rebel Mama. Yes, Pete. Same with US car insurance. We paid $165 a month. And here that was dollars, and it's 200 euros for the year. That's fantastic. Lower population density, I suppose, and a less greedy industry, perhaps. Matty looking forward to paying a fraction for car and motorcycle insurances once his move is completed. And vehicles have Portuguese number plates. All of that matriculation to do as well. So at least you've got the that's the difficult bit, I think. But you've got the silver lining of that cloud when you talk to Nuno about your premiums. Portugal has the second highest increase in COVID cases in Europe. So be safe, everyone. A bit of a reminder from Pete there. Verdad is actually back. Oh no, this is Antonio. Antonio's here. Too soon, however. We still needed some more rain. Okay. Thank you for being here, Antonio F, this morning. Nuno, your email address, of course. I am safe at winsurance.pt if anybody wants to get in touch with you to enjoy what you said before. The Americans not used to talking to a human being. You can talk to a human being. And you may even get to talk to Nuno as well and the team at Winsurance. A quick question then before you go from Sam Nazare. Do you honor waiting periods from health insurers from other countries, Nuno?
Only if they have already international health insurance. So the insurance policy must cover also Portugal. On those cases, the Portuguese insurer usually can waive the waiting periods.
Okay, and that's for treatment, is it? That's when they put a condition that you can make a claim of this kind, but not for 3 months or 6 months or for 1 year.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. Thank you for that question. And just finally then, Baddy says to you, thanks from a happy customer here, Nuno. It was lovely to meet you last week. So what a fantastic success the meetup is. And we're looking forward to having those all over the country. I think the next one will be in the Algarve. Jack Polly, hopefully we get your help on setting that one up in the Algarve. Nuno, hold on a minute. Before you go, what is the best one health insurance package for health insurance? Can you answer a question like that?
There are no such thing of the best health insurance because it depends on each of us. So my needs are different from your needs. So it depends. Yeah. Once again, the best that I can do is advise, and then you decide based on the information.
Decision. There you go, Raj. Raj, drop a line to I am safe at winsurance.pt. Great information from Simon this morning. Great information and advice, Nuno. Another caveman, I think there. And thanks, Nuno, from Sam this morning. Have a great day in the capital, Nuno. Always great fun talking to you. We didn't talk about the scouts or anything like that this morning. What's your next camp? Your camp idea, so to speak.
The next one?
Yeah. What's going on next? Where are you headed?
The next one, I believe that is in the first weekend of June.
Okay.
Will be in the first in Lisbon, Sintra, actually.
Oh, Sintra. Okay, that's nice. That makes a nice change, doesn't it? Okay. Well, I suspect we'll see you before then. No, have a great day. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure. Bye-bye. Okay, thanks all for having me. For appreciations. Bye-bye, Carl.
Great to see you, mate. The Bear Grylls of the insurance world, then, Nuno Mendes. Winsurance.pt is the website address to go to. Oh, my word. Until Neil gets here, I've got a lot of things to tell you about, sent in by Andy. Let me just take that off the screen there. Of course, Nuno has now gone into the capital. And whizzing past in his Tesla, whizzing past the Marcos de Pombal statue there that dominates that part of Lisbon. I think some friction between Pombal and the Jesuits. Looking forward to finding out more from you, Prof, about that on the appropriate day of the year, of course. Chris says to Pete, I was shocked to see how many passengers walked through the airport without masks on. However, very impressed with EasyJet. No mask and no fly policy still in operation there for EasyJet. I see so many videos on Facebook today of people getting eggy on airplanes. Is that a trend it's horrible, isn't it? Is that a trend that's rising? Is that a symptom of stress among people around the world? Or is that just Facebook? Where was I? Oh, yes, I was going to show you some wonderful information from Andy. The Porky Feet. Festas em hora de Nossa Senhora de Fátima, 13th to the 15th of May. Where is this? That's a little bit hard for me to figure out. Mama Rosa in the Barrada region. Andy is winning this competition, isn't he? when it comes to sharing information about what's going on in his locality. Come on, can we have some information? I mean, no disrespect to you, Andy, on supplying us with information from the Bairrada, and very encyclopedic you are too. But other things do go on in Portugal. Andy's all over it in the Bairrada. Can we have similar correspondence, please, in other parts of Portugal? So there you go, a festival and party, of course, in honor of Our Lady of Fatima at Mamarosa. And then we go to Caminho do Orfeão do Bustos. And again, Bairrada. We are talking about Oliveira do Bairro. Great events. All of these are great to go to if you've not been to the Bairrada region, and you can give Andy a shout and meet up with Andy as well. I think he has something special to say about this particular event here. Walk or run in aid of cancer. He says, no, that's a different one. We've got that to come. Yes, that's the Caminhar pela Natureza. But this one we're looking at the moment is a local walk history tour, free. 8 and 10 kilometers and a lunch in the park with a t-shirt at €5 if you want it, and a place called Bustos, Oliveira de Bairro. And let's go now to the walk or run in aid of cancer around the beautiful Fermentelos Lake, Pateira, near Agada. And then, of course, you can go to Agada and enjoy the umbrellaed overhang. Is that the right way of putting it? It's a famous part of Portugal that's known for its colourful umbrellas covering the streets there, or certain parts of Agada. Caminhar pela Natureza, 15th of May for that one then, and some good charity fundraising made. And finally, then a reminder, I think we've looked at this before, but it's coming up 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th of May. It is the Concentração of the Motard motorcycle fans, and a chance to talk about DJ Fiasco again. I want to hear one of DJ Fiasco's sets. I really do. I wonder what that's like. Oliveira de Bairro again. I believe there. 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th of May, and it's the 22nd such event of its kind there for motorbiking fans. Still, the blessing of the helmets to come later this year as well. Andy all over that and telling us about it. Have we got correspondence for events in your part of the world? Do take a photo, send it in 913-590-303. It would be lovely to hear from you. I have news. I'm really not sure whether to share this with you or not, quite frankly. We have a news item. I did share it already in the comments, and I wonder how many of you saw it. Doug has written an article. Okay, Doug has written. He's a correspondent for the Portugal News. He'll be with us tomorrow, along with Paul, and we'll catch up with Dougie. Brexit, old resentments simmer on. I know some of you will be thinking immediately, I must go and have a look at this. What's Dougie on about in his opinion piece from one day ago? And already 9 comments, as you might expect from the Portugal News. Some of the headings include, the headline is Brexit, old resentments simmer on. And we'll be finding out about the effect of that on the currency, of course, with Neil in just a moment. Back burner, good for Portugal. Cameron's Tories, a simple choice. These are the subheadings of the article. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And already the comments pouring in, as you would imagine, at the Portugal News on an article about such a subject. Fantastic. Well done, Doug. He'll be here tomorrow to face any backlash for that. And I'll just sit and watch while that's happening. Darren is in as well. Tech Cowboy, morning gumpers from -1 in Canada. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Pete, it was all full. Some passengers must have had several packets of Carl's crisps. They're not my crisps. The aroma was constant on the plane. Not a fan of the Ovos Rotos. Tech Cowboy. Not sure if anyone had reached out before now, but that's from today. She's been in Portugal and built a life for a few years now and asking for hand. Yes, I think if we scroll back a little bit, and we're talking about Cindy, aren't we? That you're mentioning there. And I think, Pete, can you update us on that? What's going on? Okay, watch out for those videos, Carl. A lot of them are faked, just to see if there are any passengers or empty seats around people. Oh, okay, that's a good call on those upsetting videos from airplanes that you see on Facebook. Hours can pass when you've watched videos back to back on Facebook, right? Family reunion is open. Before we go to Neil at Spartan FX in just a moment, family reunion is open. I managed to get a slot. Yay! Well done, Raj. After thousands of calls, also online renewal and extension of visas have begun, as mentioned on the CEF website. Oh, nice update. Thank you very much. Antonio to Tech Cowboy Darren, I see nobody informed you that the winter is over. Yes, temperatures have already reached -1 in Canada. God bless you. Let's go now. I suspect to London. Let's find out and talk to Neil Poyton of Spartan FX. Good morning to you, Neil. Lovely to meet you.
Good morning, Carl. How are you? Okay?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We've had a nice time so far this morning. Everyone's behaving rather well this morning. All the fine fettle this morning. Yeah, great to meet you. Muito prazer, as we say here in Portugal. You're, of course, from the Spartan FX team. We've spoken to Sarah, speak to Sarah occasionally, and to Ben sometimes. And I've heard of you. You have your fans here. What's your role at Spartan FX?
So I am one of the directors of Spartan FX. Myself and Ben sort of run the private team. We've got 2 other directors who run our corporate division, and Sarah is our head of partnership. So I've been told by Sarah and Ben that it's long overdue that I need to come on the show and see everyone and meet yourself. So this is finally me showing up to meet you all in person.
Well, I'm so glad you're here, and of course we'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the rates at the moment, because it's extraordinary, isn't it? But look at this, Neil! Hola, mi amigo! In case you're wondering who the hell is that shouting at me in capital letters, that'll be James Holly, who I suspect you'll know as well. Who
I do know James yesterday. Actually, a little message from James yesterday, and because he's been updating his bank details in Portugal, so we spoke not too long ago.
And that's the beauty of what you do, right? We talked just now to Nunu from Winsurance. Americans are really surprised that they can speak to a human being in the insurance world here in Portugal. They can speak to a human being at Spartan FX as well, right?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's, I guess, an old school way of doing things to some degree. The way we are, I don't know whether we're the dinosaurs of our age, but it's very much that. I mean, we're big believers in personal service and being there for our clients, and actually, picking up the phone and talking to someone that hopefully knows what they're doing and there to help is a very rare thing these days. I just think our whole world is very digital, and why I'm a big fan of technology. I'm the same with my own experiences. I think now and then it's just lovely to pick up the phone, talk to a human being, and get that little extra help and service that you rarely see these days. So
absolutely, and best of both worlds by the sound of it, because of course people can open up a free account with you. Just go to spartanfx.co.uk. The technology is there to help, but then in those difficult situations, sometimes we had a fantastic story with Ben speaking to somebody actually in a bank. I think a bank staff in the United States. Do you get funny requests like that to speak to individuals? So tell somebody what an IBAN number is.
Yeah, quite often. I've spoke to quite a few US bank tellers now, and sort of help them through making payments and setting up international transfers. I mean, it's amazing, to be honest, that there's so many banks that our clients use that have just never made international transfers, never moved money out of the US on behalf of their clients. And it's almost a new experience for the staff in the bank. So as I say, us being there to kind of help people through that and assist the staff as well as our clients is just part of the process, really. I think every bank is different, every branch is different. And it's one of the key things we kind of discuss with our clients is, really find out what your bank is capable of. If you need help speaking to them, if you have questions regarding how this all works, then we'll always be there to help.
Brilliant, thank you. So Darren's saying, catching up from the beginning of the show at 1 3/4 speed. Carl sounds like he's calling a horse race at this speed. Sometimes I need that. If only you could have that button in real life, that could be really helpful. So I think you're up to date now, Darren. And Michael here as well. Great observation, Michael. Charlene too. Hola. Hey, Carl. Hi, Charlene. Good morning to you. And not just a human being, but a member of the family. Upgrading you there, Neil, even further with his adulation. And bon dia from Michael. Morning to you, Michael. Great to have you here this morning. Interested to hear about exchange rates from an expert today. So that's you, Neil. I stay out of these things. What's going on with the euro, the pound, and the dollar right now?
Yeah, I mean, very interesting times. Obviously, there are some huge movements we've seen over the past however many months. I don't think the volatility is going to end anytime soon. We've seen an exceptional increase in the rate for the US dollar, especially. It's been, best performing currency for some time now. I mean, there's a few very obvious factors. One is the US are the most active and most aggressive in raising interest rates. I don't think they have any signs of slowing down just yet. I think they've got a rate hike priced in for every meeting throughout this year. I think it slowed down slightly in terms of movement on the back of the last meeting. I think a lot of people were expecting that we may see some 75 basis point rate hikes at some point, but the Fed sort of dampened that slightly and said they're going to be slow and steady, nothing more than 50 basis points for the moment. But I think the Fed are a very cautious approach. Look, they're being aggressive because inflation is incredibly high, but the Fed have always, for me, taken a kind of watch and see what happens approach. As much as they're raising interest rates, it doesn't mean that's going to continue forever. If they do start seeing inflation levels come down, I can see them pulling back from raising interest rates towards the end of the year. I think this is going to be an ongoing, proactive approach to how they sort of do this. I mean, the other major factors, obviously, the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Whenever you see crisis, whether it's outbreak of fighting, things like coronavirus, dot-com bubble, credit crunch, all of these things tend to see the dollar perform well. Whenever there's, crisis of some form, we see safe haven flows into the dollar. You get money coming out of assets like equities and shares and into safer havens like the dollar, gold, Swiss franc. So it's always going to benefit in these sort of troubling times. And also there's more reports now of a slowdown in growth out of China, worries about, further rising costs and things globally. And again, it's heightened the appeal of the dollar. So, I mean, on all fronts, it's performing extremely well. I mean, the Canadian dollar as well is also benefiting because it's a huge producer of oil. It's also benefiting greatly. It's as high as it's been for many, many years as well versus the euro and pound. And there's some great opportunities to take advantage of, in my view. And on the pound and euro side, I mean, the euro is in a fairly difficult position. I think this is always going to be one of the cases when you've got so many countries involved with the setup of the euro, while some countries would be calling for a rate hike and, due to rising inflation and costs, there's other countries that is very crippling for and don't want that. So the balance in Europe is very challenging. It's much harder for them to change policy as quickly. And I think you're seeing the euro suffer a little bit on the back of that. And finally, onto the UK side, as it were, I mean, I think it's a prime example of it. Shows you how quickly things can change in markets and how quickly opportunities can come and disappear, because, over the past 6 months, we've seen the pound euro up at 120 plus on a couple of occasions. Highest level it's been at during sort of the last 5 or 6 year period. Lots of talk in the press that, we're going to see 125, we're going to see 130 in the coming months, years, however as long as it's going to take. And one thing leads to another, and we're suddenly, the pound's lost 4 or 5% of its value in the space of a month. Now we're talking about stagflation. We've got rising inflation costs, slowing growth, slowing jobs market, price, general living costs rising because of energy prices, and the situation has just turned instantly. So I think it's one of the main factors to bear in mind for anyone kind of moving currency, that as much as things look great at the moment, you can never quite predict what's going to come next. And there's a huge part in my mind of taking advantage whilst things are good. You never know what's around the corner. You never know how quickly these things are going to change. But I'm a big believer in taking advantage of the gains you've had, of the benefit you've seen in the market. I mean, for a lot of our US clients, perhaps when you started thinking about moving to Portugal, you were looking at rates of, 123, 124, all the way when it's coming down at 115s, 116s, and now seeing the market touch levels of sort of 105. There's a huge, huge benefit that we've seen that has come very much out the blue. Again, like when we go back to when the market was at 123, 124, all the headlines were that this is going to be at 130, 140 in the next 1 to 2 years, and things change that quickly, and it can do the same again. So like I say, I mean, we do have a lot of our clients are very active at the moment, trying to take advantage of where we are. You know, even if it's not for all of their money, they're, you know, thinking about hedging their risk, converting some of their funds whilst things are favourable. And I'm, you know, a big believer that this is a great approach and a sensible way of, as I say, tying in some of those gains you've had, because until you've booked your rate, those gains mean nothing until that's done. So, yeah, I think we're in for a bumpy road still. I think there's going to be lots of changes. And again, this is one of the things that we're always there for in terms of, you know, speaking to our clients, talking through your, you know, particular situations. Everyone's circumstances are different. Everyone has, you know, different cash flows, money coming at different times. There's different ways you can approach this to really fit around what you're doing and what you're hoping to achieve. So, as I say, I think definitely keep in touch with your broker and keep them informed of your plans, and hopefully they can then help advise you in terms of your options and what may be the best approach for you given your circumstances.
All right, I want to ask you a bit more about how that could work, Neil, before you go. But Sarah's here as well. Hello from the Yeoman clan.
Hi, Sarah.
And it continues from James as well. Nothing like personal connection and committed care for influencing me to be a lifelong fan. Huge fan, says James. Chris talking about, the euro sterling exchange rate, not great this week. You mentioned there hedging. You mentioned booking your rate. For some people, these are going to be like a cult financial terms. And then they're going to be, what's he talking about? I don't know what this is. Can someone have a chat with you, like as a lay person who obviously at some point, if you're thinking of moving to Portugal and you're going to buy a house, so you're going to be moving a big amount of money around. It might be the first time you've done it. You know, you may have bought a house before, but not in a different currency. Can somebody give you a call and have a chat with you or Ben or someone in the office about these basics, about what you mean by hedging and booking a rate? Can you talk people through it?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, as I say, I think every client we deal with, as much as that what we do is, in our mind, a straightforward, simple thing, as we've all been doing this many, many years, and our whole team is very experienced. But for most of our clients, this is very much a first time or one-off thing that you do. And it's a scary thing. You're sending, you know, in most of our clients' cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars or pounds or euros, you know, across borders and exchanging currency, and it's something you've never done. And I think there's a key thing is having someone there to speak to talk you through this. I mean, you can be very technical in the way you explain these things, and some people who work in markets will understand all of that. But for most of our clients, they are very much everyday people. They want to know this in simple terms. How does it work for me? What is it I need to do? What's the step-by-step approach that's going to help me, you know, hopefully get the most for my money, keep my money secure, and get it exactly where I need to be? And I think that is something we really do try and deliver for our clients. And we're always there at the end of the phone. As I say, I think the best thing any client can do is call us, let us know about your circumstances, and we can really tailor what we do and explain it in a way that works for you. And I think one of the things I say a lot to my clients personally is when I have that first conversation with them, I sort of reel off all of these different things you can do and all the different steps you're going to take. And I always say to them at the end, look, I know this can be quite overwhelming. I know I've probably given you a lot of information today, but we really are going to be here with you throughout every step of this journey. So if you've forgotten everything by the time you need to come and make your payment in a month's time, let's get on the phone again and talk through that step-by-step process along the way. So, you know, it's not just that we speak to you once and leave you to then deal with everything yourself. It really is that we're going to try and be there and help you through every single stage of your journey. So, as I say, hopefully James, as my fan here, can attest to this. And obviously, as I say, like prime examples, yesterday, James informed me that he's got a new account, needs to set it up. He just asked me, look, what do I need? How do I approach this? What do I need to give you to get the new account on file? And I literally just provide him with the information and we move forward from there. But again, it's just being there and helping with our clients along the way. But I've just seen a question come up from William Williams about, in terms of having a broker, that the way we try and work here is the first person you speak to at Spartan FX is hopefully the last person you speak to, rather than being passed around from pillar to post, like when you phone your bank and you go through various call centers and wherever you end up speaking to someone in the world. At Spartan FX, we really do assign one person to dedicate looking after you. So that rather than you have to explain in your personal circumstances, your situation over and over again to different people, your broker will get to know you, get to know what you're hoping to achieve, and will be there to help you through that journey. There are occasions when, I sometimes allow Ben and Sarah and myself to have a day off and I'll go on holiday. And it may be that one of our team will help support you in the circumstances that your broker is not in that day. But outside of that, it really is a matter of, you having a dedicated person that is going to be there for you throughout every step of your journey.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so you do get your own broker then, basically. Do we get assigned a broker at Spartan if we join? William Williams, I think the answer is yes to that. And James, yes. Neil even called me once from home while the family were preparing dinner. What? Just to address a somewhat timely issue that needed addressing. Yeah. Mrs. Amrami as well has, I think, had a word or two with Ben when they've been on holiday, right? With his level of customer service. Can't guarantee a degree of service for everyone all the time, but I think you make a pretty good go of it. Last question then. We didn't address the Australian dollar euro at the moment. That's a question from Sam over there in Oz. And looking forward to the future. Crystal ball territory. I mean, you must, when you were telling us about, looking at what the predictions are in the papers, you must take that with a pinch of salt. No one truly has a crystal ball, do they? But what's your observation on the Australian dollar and euro at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, the Australian dollar has been one of the benefactors recently on the back of what is going on in Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine and Russia are one of the biggest exporters of natural resources, and so is Australia. And when you've had supply line issues out of Russia and Ukraine, countries like Australia have benefited because they are a natural provider of these resources, similar to how Canada has benefited on the oil front in terms of this, because countries and usual supply routes have been sort of ripped up, and people have had to look for new sources, new places to get those materials. So as I say, Australia, Canada have been a massive benefactor of that. We have seen, though, recently with the slowdown in growth in China, that is now starting to impact the Australian dollar in a slightly negative way. Australia's economy is very closely linked to China and always has been. So when China growth suffers, Australian exports of natural minerals and materials slows down with it, and it can affect the Australian economy and the Australian dollar along with it. But I think at the moment that the Australian dollar is in a strong position. As I say, again, this is one of those prime examples that we're starting to see that shift slightly the other way. When the markets are in a good position, when you've seen a period of sustained strength, I think there's a great opportunity to try and take advantage, whether you do all of your money, whether you just do part of it. When the currency is performing well is down to a personal choice. But for me, the Australian dollar's benefited from what we hope is not a long-term change. We all want an end to this Russia-Ukraine crisis, and I'm sure there will be an end to that at some point. And when that does end, these supply lines are going to open up again. We're going to see changes to it, of course, but you would expect the Australian dollar to weaken somewhat at that point when this conflict does subside, and hopefully we see a ceasefire at some point. But at the moment, the Australian dollar is strong, performing well, and again, it looks like favourable levels, I think, to take advantage.
There you go, Sam. So just finally then, Neil, you and Portugal. This, of course, is the Good Morning Portugal show. We are Expats Portugal. Do you visit Portugal at all?
So I haven't been to the mainland for about 7 years. I actually went to a conference with it was actually Century 21 over in Portugal, in Lisbon. They had their annual conference. They very kindly invited me to about 7 years ago. But strangely enough, last year I went to Madeira twice on holiday. So we went with friends in the summer, and I was such a big fan that we actually went back again in October. So I went twice in the same year to Madeira. So yeah, I'm very much a fan, and I love my golf as well. So I do try and get to Portugal with the boys, which has become a slightly more difficult challenge now. I've got young children and things, and running away for a weekend with the lads playing golf. But outside of that, yeah, I'm very much a fan and hoping to visit again soon.
Well, I think there are a number of people here clearly who want to take you out for lunch when you come over. So looking forward to seeing you over here sometime. Fantastic debut, Neil. Looking forward to talking to you again sometime, as well as Sarah and Ben. Great to meet you. Thank you so much for being here today.
And I appreciate you being me on, and hello to everyone. And obviously, as I say, if anyone needs us, feel free to get in touch. We're always here.
Lovely job. All right, all the best.
Thanks,
to the rest of the team. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. There he goes, Neil. Fantastic debut there. And lots of love for Neil from the community here. And let me just take that off the screen and hit this button here, because there's a button we'd like you to hit.
Little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show at GMP.
So thanks, Neil, from Jim. Morning to you, Jim. Forgive me if I haven't said hello to you this morning. I will do my best to get round to that before 10 o'clock. Another debauchathon. Are you referring to Neil's lifestyle there? It's like the days of Caligula all over again. It's my prediction. These are the Roaring 20s. Prof, you need to get over here. And I know, you like to eat when you go to your left-leaning sociological conferences. I'm sure you guys let your hair down. You know what I'm talking about, of an evening. Hi from Magnus this morning. He's a faithful viewer. Magnus, good boy. Here's a good lad. I bet that sounded different at 1 3/4 speed. Okay. Yeah, you can't watch live at 1 3/4. You just catch up, don't you? And that must be an interesting moment when it takes you fast forward right into the moment. And maybe YouTube will have a technology one day. Google are working on it, aren't they, to see what I'm going to say at the end of the show before I've even got there. Whoa. Pam's here as well. Bon dia. And Francis, missed you earlier, Francis. Bon dia, todos. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having an awesome day. Stephen was in as well. May still be. Guessing the 6K house needs a lick of paint. Yeah, a little bit of TLC there. Maxine was in also earlier on. If it sounds too good to be true, well, you saw what you got for the money there. And of course, it's a definite lifestyle choice being over in Monsanto. I saw a beauty in Evra asking for 689,000 for a T20 20-room mansion. Andrew Gilchrist, what are you up to? Baldylocks, always happy to see you here with us, even for just an hour. I respect your commitment, even for an hour. I never even tried to catch the show live from California. Well, that's quite a confession to make now, isn't it, Mr. Holly? And yes, very good. We see what you did here, Cindy B. Good gumpers. Fondle that like button for this most sensible show. Nice currency pun there. Back to the live comments now. I'm whizzing forward. Only 25 minutes to catch up on. Spartan FX is about to start at really fast speed. Oh, amazing. So there you are there, watching it at a different speed. Wow. Madeira, any recommendations for a good car hire company, hotels, places to be? Oh, we've lost him. And Williams, thanks from Canada. Not at all. Good news from Canada there. I've enjoyed that Mike Myers. Well, actually, I slept through some of it last night. But the Pentavera. Any Canadians liking Mike Myers references? I think you've got a good self-referential sense of humor, you Canadians there. Before you dash, give the like button a smash. Oh, nice. Very good. What happens at the International Socialist Congress Day? That's what I'm talking about. And where do you have this? Where do you have Vegas, I expect, right? Thanks for a great show, says Pete. Off to our lesson with the phantasmagorical Philomena. We'll, of course, be here on Friday. I'm hoping on Thursday we'll be talking to a couple from Germany who want to set up an eco village here in Portugal. Speaking to them later today. I'll be able to confirm that tomorrow. Savvy Cat Anna will be with us on Thursday's webinar. Got to run, says Matty. I'm going to have a quick look at the papers, I think, before I go at the headlines, because I don't like to cheat you. I started late, and I'll finish just after 10 today with a few headlines. But, Philomena with us on Friday for a bit of Feel Good Friday fun. And Andy has been challenged. Porky Feet Andy in Bayarada has been challenged. Rebel Mama is in, a contender with some fantastic information for us. So thank you very much for that, Rebel Mama. I will feature that tomorrow. And I'm going to show you Thursday's webinar picky as well. Here it is coming onto the screen for you. And it's taking a while to upload this. I don't know why. Let's go and look at the headlines and we'll come back to that then in that case. And we'll look at the headlines of the English-speaking news services here in Portugal. Let me bring that onto the screen for you now. Here we go. Portugal resident first then. And what are we seeing there? Bazooka payment. Portugal receives first shot of EU bazooka payment. I hope the receptacle is bigger than that for all those euros to go into there that you can see. Fatima prayers for peace in Ukraine-Russia conflict, of course. Albufeira begins beach season ahead of the rest of the Algarve. Ooh, cheeky. Snuck in early there. Portugal to adopt new strategic defence strategy by year end. And they're breaking news today. Europe's future is linked to that of Ukraine. European leaders unanimous at close of conference of future of Europe in Strasbourg. Cost of failure in response to threat from Russia is enormous. Thousands of criminal cases poised to collapse. Is that because of pressure on the legal system in Portugal at the moment? We can go into this in greater detail tomorrow, maybe chat through it with Dougie and Paul, who'll be with us. Prof, he's also a history teacher. Should be interesting when you two get together virtually tomorrow. Marcelo uses Europe Day to call for mutual support. And Portugal, as Pete said earlier on, Portugal is European country with most number of COVID cases. Most number, that's a strange turn of phrase, isn't it? Okay, let's go to the Portugal news now, see what's on their front page. Their virtual front page, Portugal news, bringing that onto the screen for you now, with Vladimir Zelensky on dominating the front page there. He's a Renaissance man, and he gets up to all sorts. Or is that just Facebook again? So Ukraine EU membership, long, difficult, and demanding process, in inverted commas. There, that's the quote about Ukraine's membership of the EU. Americans continue to invest in Portugal at $6,500. Why would they not? 10,000 for a nice gaff. With a little bit of love and TLC needed on it in Monsanto. But yes, who wouldn't continue to invest in Portugal? Those rates. CEF racism claims against police are desperate. So a rebuttal there from CEF by the sound of it, of those claims. Brexit, old resentment simmer on. We can talk to Doug directly about that tomorrow. Urine, what's this story here? Urine repelling walls, part of Porto plan. Now, we're not going to read this. We're just going to leave this hanging there, so to speak. Urine repelling walls, part of Porto plan. Now, it's in my mind's eye, I'm thinking to myself, this is probably a way of stopping people urinating. This is revelers. This is what they're called, isn't it, in the newspapers, when they become a borderline nuisance. Revelers on their way home after a good night out on the town. Sounds like they are urinating on their way home, and some walls that repel urine. How they do this, I do not know. Is it a blast of air? Is it static? You know, like when you rub a comb. If you've got any hair on your head and you rub a comb on it and then you hold it under the tap, you can bend the water. Is it a static system? Is it a shot of cold air? What is it? What is it that can make a wall repel urine? We'll go into this tomorrow, I think. Not enough time now. It's 1 minute past 10. 15,000 new cases of COVID-19 expected per day, it says here. And again, the Portugal news reporting the fact that Portugal has the highest number of new COVID-19 cases. I'm not sure if the measurement of such things is standard across Europe, but who am I to comment on such things? And of course, yesterday, echoing Madeira's Bitcoin adoption that was announced as well. So Madeira wanting to be what? The Singapore or the Isle of Man of Portugal, and a welcome for crypto folk over there. Seaplane removed from reservoir. What? That's an interesting story. Seaplane removed from reservoir 25 years after sinking. Amazing bit of Portuguese history for you there. Oh, and this was all over the news in Portugal yesterday. Largest floating solar power plant in Europe located in Portugal. Massive solar panel that's being towed around by a little boat there. Very interesting, and people already concerned about fish and bird life as a result. But that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Ambulances stopped for 5,000 hours. We haven't got time to go into that, but if you want to check it out for yourself, go to the Portugal News and find out. PortugalNews.com, all one word there. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, finally then, just to let you know, ask anything about buying and renting property in Portugal will be our webinar this Thursday evening, Thursday the 12th of May from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Savvy Cat's Anna Caramujo will be with us. Always great fun talking to Anna. So I will see you then. Book that on our website at expatsportugal.com. Have a great day, folks. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to show you my video one more time before we go out. This is San Martino de Porto, the great glass elevator, and then the usual outro video. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow with Dougie and Paul, new American cyclist, new here, and history teacher, new here on the Silver Coast. Ciao, ciao, and bye for now.